It's my workstation, and this is my camera setup. I have it pointing straight down. I have it on a slider system so that I can move the camera if I want it left or right. And this is my main work area, as I said. Okay, in my camera rig system, I had a green thumb light system when I used to grow houseplants. It would have a fluorescent light fixture that used to hang from it. But I took off the fluorescent light fixture. I drilled a couple of holes into the supporting posts that were part of the system and just put some large bolts through this to secure this piece of lumber that I got from the Home Depot. And to attach this slider bar, I just drilled some large holes through the lumber, and then on the back, if you can see here, I bought these knurled nuts from Amazon, and it just screws through into the front, and they just screw into the slider like that. And then I have quick releases for my camera. Right now I'm using the camera, so the camera's not on here. But that is how I set up the overhead rig system for my main work area. Then I have just a light fixture here, and then some other light fixtures for additional light that I just attached to here with tie wraps, and that way I can have more light in my workspace. This is my secondary work area. This is where I keep my ScanNCut, my Gemini Junior, and my laminator. And the overhead camera rig that I've got with this, the post system here is actually a dog grooming station that I got off Amazon. It just attaches to the table with clips like this. And this particular setup can go up to 48 inches, so the width of this table is 48 inches. And I also have another camera slider bar here. It's kind of dark, so it's hard to see. But this one, you can slide back and forth to reposition the camera so that whatever area you're working from down below can be covered. And I connected this the same way. I just drilled holes in the in the metal, and I used the bolts here that came with the system to actually connect the camera slider to the bar, the metal bar up above. And so that's how I've connected the slider. I just had to drill 3 holes and connected it. It just happened to fit the screw holes in here in the camera slider. So I didn't have to drill any holes in the slider itself. I just had to drill the holes in the support crossbar here. And I put this here as a stop for the slider so that it doesn't slide off if I get too rambunctious. And I put this as a stop on this side so that it doesn't slide completely off. And so this is my secondary work area. I also have extra lights connected. I've got this one duct taped to one of the posts. And another light I've got connected to a microphone stand so that I have more flexibility about where I'm going to put this particular light. And then I have just a big light sitting behind the work area. I have a JVC camcorder. This is an old camcorder that I use. It has a built-in hard drive, and this is the camcorder that I use to record all of my YouTube videos. And after I've recorded the videos, I take a USB cable that I have plugged into my PC and I plug it, into the USB port on the front of my camera. Then I will open the screen. And as soon as it recognizes it's in USB mode, I will scroll down to backup and press OK. And that will establish a connection with my PC. And now the camera is going to appear as a hard drive. In my case, I have two folders open. One of them is my SD drive. This is where I put any still images that I put. And then the hard drive that's in the camcorder is this one. So it's in the S video. And this file name will change, but that's where the MOD files are the ones that you want. These are ones that they're basically MPEG files. And I am going to put them in a folder that's on my hard drive. So I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to select all the MOD files. And I'm going to just drag them over to the folder on my computer. And after I've transferred all of the files, I just unplug the USB drive or the USB cable from the camcorder. And I will press the Select Play Record button to get it into playback mode. Then once it's in playback mode, I'm going to press the Delete button. I am going to do the scroll button to delete all. Click OK. Scroll up to Yes and click OK. And this will delete all of the video files that are on the camcorder, and this will get it ready for my next project. Because I only like to have the files for a single project at a time on my camcorder. Okay, now I want to rename all of these so that the extension, instead of MOD, is going to be MPG, because most programs can't recognize what that MOD extension means. And so I have a program installed on my computer that is called Bulk Rename Here. And so I just have to right-click on one of the files in this folder and select Bulk Rename Here. You can go through and manually rename them all, but it's much easier to do it this way. Now I'm sorting by the modified date from the earliest to the latest. Under numbering here, I'm going to select prefix. I'm going to give it a padding of 2. I want to come over here to add, and I'm going to insert a dash at position 1. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to select all my MOD files. I had another folder. In that folder, I don't want to include that because I don't want to rename it. And so you see under new name here, this is the name it's going to give it. So this numbering and the padding that I did is to make it easier so that I can sort it when I'm dragging everything into my image editing or my video editing programs, so that as I'm editing these and the dates are changing, the dates are still going to be sorted by the original modified date directly from the camcorder. And then you want to change the extension to fixed and MPG. Okay, and once you've made all your changes, just click the rename button and it will rename all your files. Okay, and if your image or your video editing programs take MPEG files, you can just use these files directly, but I want to use Windows Movie Maker. And for some reason, it doesn't, even though I can import these files, it won't import the video, it will only import the audio. And so I need to convert these files to MP4 files. So I'm going to use a program called DVD Fab. There are really quite a few video converting programs out there that you can use. You just need to find one that will convert MPEG files to MP4 files. And so I'm just going to select all these MPG files and drag them into DVD Fab. Okay, I've created a template in here that I've called JVC to MP4 because my camcorder is a JVC camcorder. And what this is it's using a codec of H.624 or 264. The resolution is 852 by 480. I'm using fast encoding 1-pass, using the same as source frame rate with no splitting. And the audio down here is ACC Dolby Surround Pro Logic, 48 kilohertz, 128 kilobits per second for the bit rate. And so this is what that profile is doing. And so I will just click cancel for that. So as soon as I've got all of these done, I'm going to export down here to this particular folder. You can have it be whatever you want by clicking on this folder here and changing it to whatever you want. It's going to create a video subfolder the way I've got my DVD Fab configured. And then I just click Start. And then it's going to convert. Okay, now we've finished our conversion, and I've put all my converted videos in this video folder. So I'm just going to start with number 1, and I'm going to drag it over to Movie Maker. This is Movie Maker over here. And because of how my setup is, my video is upside down. So I'm in the Home tab here, and I'm just going to click this, rotate it by 180 degrees so that it's on the front. And then I can start playing it. Okay, in this project today, I'm going to take some Stampin' Up! Sweet Sugar Plum cardstock. And so this is just the videos and how we're doing it. And if I wanted to speed it up, I could double click on the video here, and I can set the speed here. Say I want it to 16 times. Now anything, if it's 4 times or less and you're going to want to do a voiceover, you want to come over here to volume and make sure you turn off the volume. Anything above 4 times, the volume is automatically muted for you. And so if you want to do a voiceover of this sped up video here, then we come back home, click on Record Narration, and then you record, and as it's recording, you just record your narration, and then you click Stop and Save, and you notice it puts a little narration below, and then you can play this back and it will play back with your narration. Record, and as it's recording, you just record your narration and record, and that's how that is done. Now, if you want to also put a caption on here, you have the caption button here, And you can put your text here. I like to change the color to yellow with an outline of thick and an outline color of black. And you can also adjust the time that your caption is displayed. This case is going to be displayed about 5.5 seconds because that's how long my clip is. And so you record, and as it's recording, you just record your narration and record, so that way you can have a caption. Now, if you want to also have a title, you come back home and you can put a title which will add another little clip in the front, and you can type in your title, any supplies used, etc. And you can position it. You can change the font or the font size to something smaller. You can adjust the length of time. And then so here you will have a title before your movie begins. Record, and as it's recording, you just record your narration. And okay, now say we want to drag our second clip onto the timeline. So we put that behind clip number 1. If you're not on the home screen, come to the home screen so that you can rotate it 180 degrees and say, I want to play the first part. The back of my stencil with some Krylon Easy Tack. And say after this point, I want to speed up the video, but keep the first part of this clip the same. So where this cursor is, I would right click and I would split. And so now you see this particular clip, they're both number 2. Now I can double click on the second one and I can speed it up to 16 times. And so now we can play that clip. And I'm going to start by spraying the back of my stencil with some Krylon Easy Tack. And you notice that second part goes a lot faster. And then you just continue to click and drag your videos. Now I've clicked number 3, come home, going to rotate it. I'll just start playing it and see if I want to split this clip somewhere so I can speed up part of the clip. So now say that we're completely finished now with our video. We've done all our editing. We've added any captions that we wanted, any titles. You can also see these 4 little squares up here on this particular clip. This tells you that this is an edited clip. You can double click on here and see that this is at a 16 times speed. If I change this back to 1 time, you notice the little 4 squares go away. So that's one way you can tell if your clip has been edited or not. This one right here has been edited, and this one has been edited. And you can see our narration comes here. It kind of overlaps this one. To prevent that, I'd probably want to adjust the speed of this to maybe 4 so that my narration doesn't overlap into the next clip. So now let's say we're done with our editing. So we'll come home and we'll want to save the movie. I use For Computer and I save it as an MP4, and you just give your movie the name that you want. We'll go ahead and put it in our video and we'll call this, let's call this Test Movie. And it will save your movie. Okay, when your movie is finished, it says you can play your video file now or open the folder that's in. I'll go ahead and open the folder. And so here's our movie down here at the bottom, our test movie. And you can play it to check it out. record, and as it's recording, you just record your narration, and then you click. Okay, I'm going to start by spraying the back of my stencil with some Krylon Easy Tack. And then if you're satisfied with it, you can just upload this video to YouTube and you're finished. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.